A vast and prosperous kingdom was ruled by a just and dignified king. His queen was extremely kind-hearted, wise, and extraordinarily beautiful. Together, they had a daughter named Alara. Alara was a remarkably beautiful princess. Her long, silky hair, sparkling eyes, and charming smile captured the hearts of everyone who saw her. Because of her gentle voice and compassionate nature, the people of the kingdom loved her deeply, and the sound of her laughter echoed through every corner of the palace. But when Alara turned 18, tragedy struck. Her mother suddenly fell seriously ill. The king summoned every healer and physician in the land, and prayers were offered day and night. Yet fate had written something else. The queen passed away, and for the first time the palace fell into a deep and painful silence. Princess Alara lost the loving embrace of her mother. The brightness in her eyes faded, yet the dignity and grace on her face remained, just as a true heir to the throne should carry. As time passed, the king, upon the advice of his royal advisors, decided to marry again. The new queen was very beautiful, intelligent, and sweet-spoken. She had a daughter named Syra. Syra was about the same age as Alara, but deep in her heart burned a strong jealousy. The mother and daughter were both very cunning, and slowly they began increasing their influence over every part of the palace. No one knew that the new queen was not just an ordinary woman, she was also a powerful sorceress. A few months later, the king announced that Princess Alara was engaged to Prince George, the prince of a neighboring kingdom. The king and George's father were very close friends, which meant that George and Alara had already known each other for years. Over time, they had grown fond of one another, and their hearts were filled with genuine love. The engagement of Prince George and Princess Alara was celebrated with great joy and grandeur throughout the kingdom. However, this happiness was unbearable for the step-queen and her daughter Syra. The stepmother felt that Alara was being given far more importance than her own daughter. In her heart, she desired that Syra should become the only heir of the kingdom, and the future bride of Prince George as well. One night, when the entire palace was fast asleep, the step-queen quietly went to her secret chamber. There, she began chanting ancient spells. She let a few drops of blood fall onto the bud of a rare red rose and placed it under the pale moonlight. By morning, the rose had transformed into something extraordinarily beautiful. Its petals were deep red like velvet, and its fragrance was so enchanting it could make anyone lose their senses. It was a magical flower. Whoever smelled it would instantly transform into a crow. The next morning, as part of the wicked plan, the rose was secretly delivered to Princess Alara's chamber, as if it were a gift from Prince George. The moment Alara smelled its fragrance, a sharp scream echoed through the air. Within seconds, she turned into a black crow.
I can feel the change!
The wings of darkness are mine!
The window flew open, and helplessly she flew out into the sky. The stepmother and Syra watched everything from a hidden corner, smiling with cruel satisfaction at the success of their scheme. Soon after, the step-queen hurried to the king and told him that Princess Alara was nowhere to be found. The king immediately ordered a search throughout the palace and across the kingdom, but there was no sign of her anywhere. His heart broke with grief. News of the princess's disappearance spread throughout the entire kingdom, and Prince George too became deeply saddened and restless. Time passed. Meanwhile, Syra began trying to take the place of the missing princess. Slowly and carefully, the step-queen started convincing the king that the kingdom needed stability. The alliance with Prince George should not be broken, and after all, Syra was the same age as Alara. Perhaps this would be the best decision. The king finally agreed, though the pain of losing his daughter still burned inside his heart like glowing embers. But Prince George was not ready to accept this false arrangement. He was certain that Alara had not simply disappeared. Something terrible must have happened to her. So he set out on a journey to find her himself. He traveled across open fields and deep forests, asking every traveler if they had seen the princess, but no one had any clue. At night, he would sit beneath the stars under a lonely tree, remembering Alara and making a silent promise to himself that he would never return until he found her. One day, deep in the forest, a crow suddenly flew down and sat in front of the prince. To his shock, it called out his name. Prince George stared in surprise. "How do you know my name?" "I am Princess Alara, your fiancée." The Crow Princess spoke with a voice filled with pain and hope. "George, this is all the work of my stepmother. She used magic to turn me into a crow. The spell is very powerful, but it has one weakness. The magic will break only if the black mirror in her secret chamber is destroyed. That mirror is the source of all her magical power. If it shatters, I will become human again, and her true identity will be revealed to everyone." George immediately asked, "Where is this chamber, and how can I reach it?" "It is on the highest floor of the palace. There is a hidden door that opens only with a special spell. The spell is, 'O secrets of darkness, let the ray of light open the way.' But be careful, the Step Queen and Syra are always watchful." Prince George gently lifted the crow and placed her on his shoulder. "I will bring you back, my heartbeat," he said softly. That very night, he began his journey back to the kingdom. Along the way, he faced violent storms and wild beasts, but George's determination never wavered. When he finally reached the palace, he made a surprising announcement. He was ready to marry Syra. Joy spread throughout the kingdom. The king's eyes filled with tears of relief. The Step Queen and Syra welcomed him with false smiles, though a trace of fear could be seen on their faces. George then said calmly, "I am ready for the wedding, but I have one final request. I wish to see the ancient chamber where the queen performs her prayers. I would like to join in her blessings for the happiness of my future marriage." The Step Queen's face suddenly turned pale. "That chamber is private, Prince. Only I am allowed to enter it." George replied in a gentle yet firm tone, "If you truly care for me and for this marriage, then please grant this small wish. Otherwise, I may believe there is something you are hiding." The king also insisted. At last, the Step Queen had no choice but to agree. Late that night, in the deep silence of the palace, they all walked toward the hidden chamber. The stairs climbed upward through dark corridors until they reached a small door at the very top. The Step Queen slowly recited the spell, and the door creaked open. The chamber was drowned in darkness. In the center stood a large black mirror, glowing faintly as if thousands of trapped souls were swirling inside it. Prince George slowly drew his sword. The stepmother screamed, "No, don't do it!" But it was already too late. With all his strength, George struck the mirror. It shattered into thousands of pieces. A thunderous crash echoed through the chamber. A wave of bright light burst outward, and a powerful gust of wind swept through the room. The crow began spinning in the air, and within moments it transformed back into Princess Alara. Her beautiful face, long flowing hair, and shining eyes just as before. She gently landed on the ground and ran straight toward George. The two embraced each other tightly. At that very moment, the Step Queen's appearance began to change. Her beauty vanished, her skin wrinkled, Her hair turned white and wild, and her face twisted into that of an old and terrifying witch. Cyria screamed as well. Her own appearance became distorted and frightening. The king trembled with anger. "You did this? You turned my daughter into a crow?" The stepmother, now revealed as a witch, fell to her knees and pleaded, "Forgive me! It was jealousy!" But the king's decision was firm. A royal court was assembled. All the nobles, advisors, and citizens gathered. The evidence was undeniable. The king finally declared, "You and your daughter are a danger to this kingdom. You are banished from this land and will be imprisoned on a distant, barren island. There you will spend the rest of your lives working hard, tending fields, carrying water. No magic, no tricks, only labor and repentance." Both of them were chained and taken onto a ship. As the ship sailed away, that lonely island became the place where they would spend the rest of their lives. Meanwhile, joy returned to the palace. Princess Alara and Prince George were married in a grand celebration. Flowers rained from balconies, music and dancing filled the air, and fireworks lit up the night sky. The king embraced his daughter with tears in his eyes and said, "My daughter, you have returned. Now this palace will shine with light once again." Princess Alara and Prince George later ruled the kingdom together. They created new laws to help their people, cared for the poor, and became an example of kindness and justice. Their story was told for generations, a tale of love, loyalty, and the triumph of good over evil. And so the kingdom lived in peace and prosperity, as long as the sun continued to rise and the moon continued to shine.